What's poppin', popcorn enthusiasts? It's your host Jay and AK. Today we're going to go over episode 5, season 2 of House of the Dragon. AK, what was your thoughts on that? Personally, not the strongest episode for me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I do think this was a very late into the season setup episode, which is quite aggravating considering the first three episodes kind of was a setup before we have an episode four. So I'm not sure why this episode just felt so out of place. I like the set designs. I like the characters still. No issue with the characters, no issue with the writing itself. I just feel like this episode is kind of out of place. Definitely the weakest season.
Yeah, for sure. When they showed the veil, that was really nice.
Oh, that was
The
beautiful.
visuals were amazing.
The veil and the
But
trends were amazing. I've been waiting to see like actual castles, so I liked it a lot. I enjoyed seeing that.
yeah, I can't wait to see more of it. But this episode really was a slow one, and it
Mhm.
didn't feel, like you mentioned, it didn't feel like it should have been placed here. Probably something earlier.
I feel like the amount of stuff that happened this episode could have been condensed into like a 30-minute episode, where they could have had the last 30 minutes of the hour-long episode to do with more information, like pushing the plot alongside more. I feel like the plot kind of staggered in this episode.
Yeah, this is episode 5 of only 8, correct?
Yes, that's my biggest concern. So there's 8 episodes this season versus 10 of last, so seems kind of odd to have a very slow episode towards the end, later half of the season.
Yeah, so let's start diving into this episode. So we get the scene of Melis, the dragon who was rode by the queen who should have been, as I like to call her. Uh, that scene solidified something for me. I hate the Greens. What a dumb decision to parade that majestic beast off like that.
I mean, you can see even the small folks. They were like, "This is an omen. This is a curse from the gods," and they were more horrified of just seeing it. And I think it's leading into, and this is all speculation. I don't know where the story is going, but it does seem like what's going on with the White Worm, how she has like insiders within King's Landing. I feel like she's going to use this as a way to maybe have them revolt against the Greens, the small folks, because the small folks are now seeing that the dragons can be taken down, and I wonder if this is leading into something.
You're absolutely right, right? This is the strength of the Targaryen family, and they've now showed it as
We're
they
weak.
can be killed.
We could be killed, and that's
Yeah,
why that one guy, that commoner we keep seeing, the Smithsman, he's like, it's just meat. Like I think it kind of connected to them. Like, wait, these are just animals. They can be killed like any other animals can be killed.
and you're right. That's probably going to be the downfall because the Hightowers don't have the foresight of hey, the dragons being this legendary thing. It is a benefit to control people.
Yeah,
This is a dumb decision, and
it's it's
I
kind of like
I,
the analogy I
I
used
can't
last.
support these guys no more.
I still have sympathies for the Green. I'm still Team Allison. I still respect her as a character and as a person. I think she was dealt a very bad hand. I do feel bad for her son Aegon, but each episode is getting harder and harder to justify any support or any respect I have for some of the characters.
Their wounds are self-inflicted, my guy.
No, I
Like
agree.
when
It's a
Allison is
genuine.
trying to take control because Aegon is injured, this girl literally said, "Hey, when there's an heir to the throne and it's a male, we should give it to them." She was trying to undermine Rhaenys, or sorry, Rhaenyra, back in season 1. It's her seeds that she's sown. She's inflicting
No,
this pain on
it's her
herself.
dad because at the end of season one, she did say you would make a great queen, and she put away her ego for a minute. But the moment the king died, her father already had everything in motion. Regardless if the dead king said Aegon or Jace or my daughter, whoever he would have picked for heir, it didn't really matter at that point. Otto Hightower, it's a generational issue, and Otto Hightower pulled the string from day one.
That's fair, but I still feel I'm taking them as the Green family. A
Yeah,
lot
you're
of their
grouping them as a
issues,
whole, but
yeah, a lot of their issues are self-inflicted issues. They're
you
doing
can
this to
say this.
themselves.
And you can say the same thing, and that's going to take us into what's going on further into the episode with Damon. You can say the same thing about blacks. Damon is ruining any love that Rhaenyra could have had from the small folks all around. Like, so we basically start him off with Damon here. He's threatening Brackens with the Blackwoods. Like, remember how he teamed up with the Blackwoods last episode? And the Blackwoods basically said, "Hey, we'll bend our knees to you if you destroy the Brackens." So he has his dragon taunting the Brackens, and he doesn't kill them, but it was a beautiful shot. And he basically tells the Blackwoods, "Massacre the town folks, massacre their livestock, their women, their children, and they will immediately turn and bend the knee to us." And he's ruining the good name of Rhaenyra, and it's the same thing. It's self-inflicted wounds. He is the king consort. He should have, I feel like people should be attacking or antagonizing Daemon more than they are with the Greens.
I actually like that you brought that up, and it's true. David has a lot of demons within himself that he's having to work through this season, and he's also having to deal with the consequences of what he's put in place.
Mm-hmm.
That whole scene of where the townfolk basically tell him to f off because he is killing all these people under his name,
The,
under the
mhm.
Targaryen name. So you're absolutely right. He needs to deal with the consequences that he is sowing, and it's going to be really interesting to see how this complex character gets through his head that, my guy, you are the king consort, and that's all you're ever going to be, if even that.
Honestly, I think if Queen Rhaenyra wants to make a point and wants to not rule with like an iron fist, but rule with strength, she should immediately condemn anything Daemon has done and either imprison Daemon or force Daemon outside the public eyes, whether killing him or like I said, divorcing him or something along those lines, because he's dragging her name through the mud, and he does not. I feel like it's not getting through him. I feel like the whole horrors of Harrenhal, you expect it to slowly by now start connecting in with them. I feel like it's getting more. He's getting more crazier and madder as the season progresses, and I think he might be her downfall if she does not distance himself from him soon.
Okay, so a few points there.
Mhm.
My guy has mommy issues, and he's trying to work
God.
through them.
It's not even mommy issues. You never knew your mom, and that's one thing that the that Witchmaster said. Alice Rivers, she's like, you never met your mom, basically implying that your mom died in childbirth, and you came out of that. And my man, you never met your mom. Why do you want a person you never met?
Yeah, that was a very interesting scene, and it was definitely we were. I think we're all like, "Oh, who's that girl? Is it someone that he's envisioning he wants to be with?" It's like it's the mom.
Like, that's even more suspect. It's even more sus.
So I'm really liking Alice Rivers' character. She is really every
Growing on
scene
me.
with her is unique and it's fun. So I'm really glad we got her because this whole Harrenhal arc has been so boring, and I really hope it goes somewhere. It needs to conclude by next episode because I'm kind of done with it.
So for me, I think it's actually the highlight of the episodes for me.
But it's
I
not
think
moving anywhere. Like it's taking so long. It's like just come on, get to the point.
no, I agree. It is moving very slow, but I like the. I guess it's something that I was wanting Game of Thrones, the main series, to do. Is the flashbacks or the fever dreams. That's something that the books were very big on. They had a lot of different scenes. Like Jamie had a very famous dream with Brienne in it. And it just and Ned Stark had some as well. Obviously, Brienne had a lot in the books, and it kind of just shows someone's psyche from a different way of looking at it. Like it breaks down their mental state, it breaks down their psyche, and it shows them what kind of character they are. And that's why I'm enjoying it. It's kind of showing, like you said, demons. It's showing all of the demons he carries. He killed, he sent the order to kill a kid. He wants to be the king, but he does not know how to actually prove to himself and prove to everyone else that he is king material. So I like where it's going, but I'm with you. I think it is taking a little too long.
So I never saw it that way, and maybe when I rewatch season two, I'll look at it in a different way. Just to close out this whole Damon thing, I don't think she can distance himself. I don't think Rhaenyra can distance herself from Damon because he is one of the more battle ready people that she has. Also, Caraxes, his dragon,
That is
is
true.
one of the more powerful ones that they have in their arsenal. He is too valuable to lose like that, but she does need to control him in some way. I'm just hoping that he has some mental realization that I'm the best person I can be is supporting Renera.
Okay, no, I see that. You actually made a good point. I don't know how I forgot all about Caraxes, so no, you're correct about that. Losing him would be just as big of a downfall as anything else would have been. In this case, the scenario with Daenerys. But moving on to Cordless. So sad to see this guy broken down. He's lost everything. He's lost his daughter, his son, now his wife.
His
It was
brother,
his brother, yes, and he's actually been asked to be the hand of the queen.
I like that pick.
Very smart, very good pick. He's very level-headed. He's battled strong as well. He's been through many battles himself, and he's very intelligent, from what we could tell.
Yeah, his strategies seem to be very good because he's the one who ordered the blockade on
Hmm. King's Landing.
King's Landing, and they're suffering. You can see it, and the people are really starting to manifest this hatred towards the Greens, which it's attributed to him. So, very good pick, in my opinion.
No, 100%. And
We had a
he
scene
had
with Bela, right? How was
yes,
that?
I enjoyed that scene a lot. She said, so basically, they were just having a little mental debate, and she reminded me so much of her grandma. How the whole time he's been raving about this war, he doesn't want to start another war. He doesn't. At this point, he's lost everything. He just wants to just give up and pack his bags and sail off to God knows where. And it's very similar to how he and his wife have had multiple conversations throughout the last two seasons, and how she's always the one keeping him on track. And that's how his granddaughter kind of put him back on track and opened his eyes. I just love Bela has definitely written to one of my favorite characters of the show.
I totally agree. Bela and Jaceres,
Hmm.
both of those characters in this episode have really started to come their own. And moving on to Jaceres, he's actually shoring up a lot of alliances and
Yes.
strengthening Rhaenyra's claim, which I'm really enjoying. Like he's a kid, but he's already gotten the Starks, so the North. He's
Hmm.
gone to the Twins, and it really feels like he's moving this front for his mom in a very positive way.
Yeah, that's one thing I have issue with Queen Rhaenyra. I feel like she's this whole season she's been just finding a way to end this war without violence, without realizing that unfortunately violence is inevitable. And I think her son understands that. And her son, he seems like he has that strategic mind that Damon has, which is probably why because he's kind of grown up with Damon for the past couple of years in his life, so he kind of sees him as a father figure. But he's also with his mom with the diplomacy. So I like how he's mixing like the strategist mind that Damon has and the diplomacy side that his mom has, and he immediately just wins over the phrase, which was amazing to watch because if you watch the main show, the phrase are just assholes and no one likes the phrase. So it was kind of cool to see him work with them and actually get them on their side pretty quickly.
Yeah, and towards the end of the episode, we get a hint at how House Targaryen could get a front foot with the dragons.
Hmm.
And that's basically looking at the lineage and trying to find someone who has even a little bit of Targaryen blood. How do you think that's going to play out the remaining of the season?
Yeah, Jace mentions that there's two dragons that's underneath dragon stones in the caves, Vermithor and Silverring. We saw Vermithor briefly last season, but he's apparently just as old as Vhagar, around the same age. So he's probably just as large as Vhagar, which is going to be a big win if they can get him on their side. And then Silverwing. I'm not sure with Silverwing how he looks, how big or how fast he is, or whatever. But it was a very smart idea. And I think this is a good way to get other houses to join Team Black is offering them a dragon. Like, hey, if you can fight with us and convince a dragon to allow you to ride, you can have that dragon. It's yours as long as you fight with us. So it's a very smart move, and I'm wanting to see who gets picked.
You're a big House Baratheon fan, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Do you think there's any chance of that?
I mean, the fact that we really haven't been introduced to any Baratheons at this point of the show, probably not.
Okay.
Though there is a character that we have been introduced a couple of times in the show, Alan, the individual who saved Corlys at season one,
Yeah.
and we know he's a bastard, or potential bastard, or has some kind of Valerian blood in him. And you do remember he did see he has been watching dragons, and I'm just wondering, are they going to somehow tee him up to be a potential dragon rider? Otherwise, what's the point of having that character every other episode make an appearance without any real point?
So that's actually really interesting. I didn't think of that. That could work. That'd be really
I'm
interesting.
just trying to figure out, like, because they showed a couple, and then they had that at the brothel a couple of episodes ago, that the guy who claims to be a bastard of Targaryen.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, he's only been in one episode, and we haven't seen him since, so he might just been a throwaway just for
Isn't he the
that
guy
scene.
whose daughter is dying and he was trying to escape the?
Was that
Wasn't that
him?
him? Yeah, I think it was.
Because he seemed like a totally different person. Because he was
I thought it was.
drunk.
They made a point of his silverish, whitish hair. So I
Yeah, and then
thought,
that guy does have. It might be the same person. Then I'm not sure. Huh. Yeah, you're talking about the armor, the smithy, right?
right.
Yeah, I'm not sure. They might be the same. I'm not. I need to rewatch that scene because I can't
Yeah, we
remember
need
if
to
it's the same
rewatch season
person.
two.
Yeah, I am definitely going to once the season ends and see if these Harrenhal scenes work out and if this episode is better on a rewatch. But
Yeah,
I mean, overall, I think the ending with Jace mentioning like, "Hey, we have dragons down here. Let's try finding riders for them." It's a very smart play, but it could potentially cause more chaos because what if the dragon just kills everyone or like whoever tries mounting them? These
yeah,
dragons are
that's probably
untamed.
going to be accepted risk, right? I mean,
Mhm.
and probably Queen Renera will be like, "Hey, you guys can come and tame the dragon, and you can keep the dragon, but the risk is they'll probably kill you, which it probably will."
You think if they do this, will House Green do the same thing? Because House Green does have the dragon pits and King's Landing, which has more
Do they
dragon.
have any other dragons sitting there though?
I'm not sure. I mean, I know they have the Dragon Pit, which is houses all the dragons, but obviously Dragonstone also has dragons underneath their pits.
Mhm.
So I'm really not sure who has the most, like, who has more unclaimed dragons at this point. Because I feel like that's where this story is going to go. Whoever has the most dragons ultimately will win. And I
Yeah,
think,
especially because it seems like Vagar is good for like one battle, but then she just tires out.
and she's also injured, but they don't know that she was scratched and she was
Yeah,
bleeding. So she is also injured. Oh yeah, and also we didn't mention King Aegon is alive.
right. Yeah. I actually I felt bad for him when he was crying for his mom.
Yeah, dude,
That stung.
he reminded me of Two Face from The Dark Knight.
That's
Half
such a good
burnt.
reference. Yep.
Yeah, and his brother One Eye Aemon is now King Regent.
Acting
He's
king. Yeah,
basically, yeah, he's
technically.
acting king for his brother. That was a very sad scene. Just seeing because Allison knows that this guy is crazy. This guy is going to do horrible things, but dude, she's terrified of her son. And the fact that she's terrified of her son terrifies terrifies me as a watcher. I'm like, this guy is, yeah.
Yeah,
If
I
your mom
don't
is
have
scared to
much
be in the same
sympathy for
room,
her though.
I have sympathy for her. Aemon is very fun to watch, but God, he is such an interesting villain. But do you have any last thoughts on your end?
Only last thought I had was I kind of like how Lara Strong and Kristen Cole used Allison, and then when it came to actually making a decision, they backstabbed her at the same time.
I mean, I
Ah,
feel
that must have
like,
hurt.
and I feel like Allison should have known Cole isn't someone you shouldn't really trust because Cole kind of did the same thing with Renera back in season
Yep.
one, and then Laris did the same thing to his family. He killed his brother and his dad so he can take over Harrenhal. So he's very untrustworthy. Like Allison, you're surrounding yourself with villains who's only going to be your downfall. As a green
Yeah.
supporter, I can't stand Laris and I can't stand Cole. And I'm like, if you get them out of your circle, I'll be 100% repping you. Right now, I'm like, I'm soft repping you, but I want to go hard on y'all, but I can't right now.
You can't go hard on Allison.
If opportunity arises, call me Christian Cole. No, no, no,
All right.
no.
No, but
But
overall, this episode for me was weaker,
yeah,
especially following episode four, which was one of the best of the series. They need to just do a little bit more for me. They need to progress the story a little quicker.
Definitely, definitely. I think, yeah, like I said earlier, I think this might be the weakest episode of the series as a whole, which is not a bad thing because I'm wondering if this episode will look better on a rewatch after all of season two comes out because this is a very much a setting, a place for the last half of the season. But I think that's all I had to say.
Yep, that's all I got. So please like, subscribe for more House of the Dragon
Yeah,
anime,
comment
movies, other
below
TV shows.
if you're team black, team white, team black, or team green. Comment below. Let us know where you stand.
All right, peace.
See you guys.